So he said to me, "Oh, we can't trust you then, can we?" So I said, well, I kept the recorder on.
Yeah.
So he said, "Well, if we can't trust you, I suggest we take your membership off you." So I said, "Well, to save you the problem, I've never been sacked from any job in my life,
Yeah.
never been debarred from any club or administrative position in my life. I will tender my resignation."
Yeah.
And I wrote a note out there and then. And I walked out of that meeting,
Right.
having resigned. And I walked out to an applause, may I say,
Right.
from the
How
body
many
of
was
the meeting.
there?
Oh, there would have been about 40 or 50,
Right.
maybe 60. I don't quite know, I didn't take the statistics.
Right.
So, when I got home, and on reflection, I knew that I had made a grave mistake
Right.
by handing in my resignation. And I immediately wrote a letter to the secretary the day after to apologise if I caused any embarrassment to them,
Yeah.
and could I be reinstated as a member.
Yeah.
In letter form, I was told in no uncertain circumstances would I be given my membership back,
Right.
and I was not welcome on the premises of Victoria Bowling Club. At this stage, may I state, I had never ever, in the 10 years I'd been bowling at the Victoria Bowling Club for a second time, I'd never ever been invited to a committee meeting.
Right.
I'd never been disciplined by the club.
Yeah.
Complaints had never ever been sent in about me.
Right.
This was the first and only time.
Okay.
I then got a letter back from the secretary to say not only was I not welcome, I was now banned for life. Now, this is a ridiculous situation because I can get over the situation quite easily for 2 or 3 years. But when the fixture comes up to play at Victoria Bowling Club, for the past 3 years, I have had to be left off my team, which is now the Crown. Thus, Victoria Bowling Club, in effect, are selecting the Crown Bowling Club's team.
Right. Okay.
By saying Mr. Cairns cannot play.
Okay. So just tell me, how did, I noticed a lot of players left Victoria.
Oh yes.
And they all went to the Crown. How did that come about? Did they just follow you?
Yes, I think they came out in sympathy. Not only did they leave to come to the Crown, they invited me to join them. Some went to Point and Working Men's Club.
Right.
Jeff Morn, Dave Smith, and the lad that bowls at the back for Point and Working Men's Club. They call him by his initials. He's a nice lad.
Right.
Overweight, but nevertheless a nice lad.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So
Steve Allen, is it?
Steve Allen. Correct.
Just saying it on
Steve Allen.
Yeah.
Correct. Thank you very much for reminding me
That's
his name.
John Chapman from Great Moor.
Yeah. Thanks very much, John. And from this point on, not only am I talking now about my situation in Victoria, I put my point to the S&D League, and they didn't do a thing about it.
Right.
They said it was a private matter. I went to Cheshire Crown Green Bowling Association, and they again said it was a private matter.
Right.
But in my opinion, it is not a private matter when I can't bowl.
Just explain to everyone out there, because not everybody's in Stockport, why this affects so much. Obviously the Vic are at top of the league and you're going for promotion.
Oh yes, this year it affects so much because in the second division, we at the Crown, the Victoria Bowling Club and New Mills are vying for 2 positions, and they're to get into the A division, the Premier Bowling League in Stockport, where all these stars are now coming into. You see, and we want to be part of that. Now, to stop me playing, it could, although on the occasions that I've played Victoria at the Crown, I've been beaten. So what they worried about me for, playing at the Victoria? You see, So I really think that they are selecting our team at a vital match which could gain us 1.5 points extra than should a reserve play.
Yeah.
But as I was saying as well, not only is it affecting me with the Victoria Bowling Club, it seems as though there is 2 other clubs that have barred players from playing.
Right.
One is the Holsworth Bowling Club, who has a problem with the British Legion at Levenzoom.
Right.
Over 2 players who you might know, Jamie.
Yeah, the twins,
The 2 twins.
Yep.
And there's also a problem with Spring Gardens, who have barred a Royal Oak player, young...
Chris Barlow.
No, he's left us, Chris. There's 2 brothers of them. I played one the other night, Paul and Gary Howard. Because Gary is a bit vociferous like myself.
Yeah.
They
harmless.
Harmless.
Yeah.
We both are
Yeah,
harmless. We don't derogatively make remarks about other players.
No, it's harmless banter.
It's banter which is missing from our game at the moment.
Exactly.
It's missing.
Yeah.
And this is why bowling is dying. Now, it seems as though the ladies at Spring Gardens have objected to young Gary playing there. So
I didn't know that.
Well, I didn't know until last week when we played the Friendship, and Keith Dighton, the league secretary, told me of this.
Right.
I said, well, look, Keith, you made a rod for your own back last year with the Oldsworth and the Levenzoom Royal British Legion.
Yeah.
Right?
Who've now dropped out of the league, haven't they?
Well, I don't know. Yeah. But the situation was then that they made that game, instead of being played at the Oldsworth because they wouldn't let the 2 twins play at the Oldsworth, they had to play it on a neutral green.
Right.
And they played it at Romley Arms.
Right.
Now, if this is going to be so with other clubs, the league committee should and must put a rule in the book whereas players who have been objected to playing, they must either lose 21 points because they won't let him play, or they must play on a neutral green and the fixture must be played.
Or visit the venue and not use the bar facilities.
Well, they won't let me use the premises.
So just tell us, last year Don was saying that you still went down to the
Yes, this is quite funny actually. This is quite funny. I went down to the Vic and I was met by one of the officials of the club and said that I wasn't allowed in.
Right.
But not he wouldn't know this, but I'd taken a pair of step ladders in the back of my car. And I stood my ladders up, not touching the Victoria Bowling Club premises.
Right.
And I sat at the top of the ladder for the whole of the match, encouraging my players in the game. And observers of Donor Street, where I was stood, even came out and brought me a cup of tea and biscuits. They made me very comfortable. And when I told them the situation, they said, well, they are quite perturbed with the noise that comes from the bowling green anyway.
Right.
But that's another matter, and I don't want to go into that. And that really is something that it only comes up with me every season when I can't play there. I can live with it, but every season when I can't play there, it's as though it's a life sentence on me. They're laughing their heads off.
And what disturbs me is it's been occurring more and more in recent times, and I think the league ought to have seen all the warning signs and brought in some kind of rule to countermand this kind of
action. If I can just say something though, I have held position in bowls for over 50 years. Starting at Vernon Park when I was 16, I bowled there 40 years, and during that time I was a member of the Stockport Parks Bowling League in all various high positions. And there were lots of occasions when the Victoria Bowling Club name came up, they shouldn't be playing in the Parks League because they are a club.
Right.
Now, I said, Victoria was invited to join the league many years ago.
Because they were financially struggling, weren't they?
We were struggling as a league, and years ago we invited the Victoria to come into the league, and on one occasion it came to a committee decision whether we should do something about it. and it was my casting